Think about this. Four major belief systems, Judaism, Christianity, Islam and Rastafari, are like siblings who argue over the same heirloom, the Old Testament. But here on the Primal Text, we're not here for preaching or fluff. We're here for the raw truth. Today we go back, way back to the root of them all. The Old Testament didn't arrive as a neatly bound leather book. It emerged over a millennium, written by dozens of scribes, edited, revered, disputed, and finally canonized. Archaeology confirms it. The Dead Sea Scrolls, dating from around 100 BCE, show Isaiah chapters written by different hands. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered between 1947 and 1956 in 11 caves near Qumran, a site located on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea in what is now the West Bank. The area is dry and desolate, ideal for preserving fragile scrolls for over 2,000 years. Discovered accidentally by a Bedouin boy, the Dead Sea Scrolls are, without a doubt, the most important biblical find of the 20th century. They were hidden in desert caves near Qumran. These ancient manuscripts, over 900 in total, preserved the world's oldest biblical texts, offering a snapshot of how the Hebrew Bible evolved and how apocalyptic sects like the Essenes lived and believed before the rise of Christianity. Another gem of a find was the Ketef Hinnom blessing. The silver amulets from Ketef Hinnom, about 600 BCE, preserved the priestly blessing, nearly 1,000 years before our era. In 1979, in a dusty rock-cut tomb just outside Jerusalem's Old City, archaeologists uncovered something no one expected. 2 tiny silver scrolls rolled tight like miniature cigars. What they found wasn't just old, it was ancient. Over 2,600 years old, dating back to the late 7th century BC, around the time of the prophet Jeremiah. And the words inscribed on those scrolls, a blessing from the Hebrew Bible. The Ketef Hinnom blessing is the oldest known copy of any biblical text ever discovered. It's actually older than the Dead Sea Scrolls by about 400 years, etched into silver, not written with ink. That means it was meant to last. When the scrolls were finally unrolled, carefully, over 3 years, they revealed words some may recognize. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. That's from Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 to 26, the famous priestly blessing. You've heard it in synagogues, churches, and maybe even at bedtime prayers. But this isn't a modern print version. This is raw, pre-exilic Hebrew, inscribed in stone-hard silver before Jerusalem fell to Babylon. And AI-driven handwriting analysis confirms what scholars long suspected. Multiple scribes, multiple traditions, more like an ancient group chat than a single author. The Ketef Hinnom scrolls were buried in a tomb, hidden from empires, war, and time itself. But they outlived it all, and today they speak, not just to archaeologists, but to anyone who wants to know how deep, how old, and how real the roots of the Bible truly are. For Judaism, the Old Testament isn't a prequel, it is the story. The Tanakh, made up of Torah, prophets, and writings, is the bedrock of identity, law, and faith. We've got archaeology to back up even the oldest narratives. Jericho's walls collapsed around 1400 BCE, exactly as the book of Joshua recounts. On Mount Ebal, archaeologists have uncovered an altar and Hebrew inscriptions, rituals that echo covenant-making in Joshua chapter 8. And while archaeology can't verify every miracle, its respect for the text is clear. Jericho, by the way, was an ancient sound and light show, just no special effects. Enter Jesus of Nazareth, a Torah-observant Jew who claimed not to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. Christians took the Hebrew scriptures, reordered them, and read them through the lens of Christ. Take Isaiah 53, written centuries before Jesus. To Christians, those words aren't just poetry, they're prophecy. Archaeology supports this reverence. That same Ketef Hinnom blessing predates Christianity, showing the text was long held sacred. Early Christians essentially said, You've read the seeds, here's the harvest. Now let's talk about kings. For centuries, scholars debated whether King David was real or a myth. That changed with the discovery of the Tel Dan Stele, an inscription from the 9th century BCE that refers to the House of David. In the summer of 1993, in a quiet corner of northern Israel called Tel Dan, archaeologists discovered a broken piece of black basalt stone, only about the size of a tablet computer. Little did they know it would rewrite our understanding of biblical history. This fragment is part of the Tel Dan Stele, a victory inscription from the 9th century BCE, likely commissioned by an Aramean king, probably Hazael of Damascus, celebrating his triumph over Israel and Judah. Suddenly, David stood on solid ground. Then there's the Mesha Stele from Moab, describing revolt against Israel, just as Kings records. The Mesha Stele, also known as the Moabite stone, is a crucial artifact in the fields of archaeology and religious history. Discovered in 1868 in Dibon, present-day Jordan, it is a large slab of black basalt, inscribed with a detailed account of the military campaigns and building projects of King Mesha of Moab in the 9th century BCE. Shall we talk about miracles? Hezekiah's tunnel in Jerusalem shored up water flow in the 8th century BCE, right before the Assyrians showed up. Babylonian records name Nebuchadnezzar's siege of Jerusalem. Hezekiah's tunnel, also known as the Siloam Tunnel, is a remarkable feat of ancient engineering located beneath the city of David in Jerusalem. It was constructed during the reign of King Hezekiah of Judah in the late 8th century BCE, with the specific purpose of securing Jerusalem's water supply in anticipation of an Assyrian siege. The tunnel's construction is described in the Hebrew Bible in 2 Kings chapter 20 verse 20 and in 2 Chronicles chapter 32 verses 2 through 4 and verse 30, which attributes the project to King Hezekiah's defensive preparations against the Assyrians. In 1880, an inscription was discovered carved into the tunnel wall near the Siloam Pool. Written in ancient Hebrew script, this inscription documents the moment the two teams of diggers met in the middle, confirming the narrative of the tunnel's construction. Today, Hezekiah's tunnel remains intact and functional, with water still flowing from the Gihon Spring to the Pool of Siloam. It is a popular archaeological site that allows visitors to walk through a tangible piece of ancient Jerusalem's history. Also significant were the Lachish Reliefs from Nineveh, which show Assyrians attacking the same city in the same way. The Lachish Reliefs are a series of monumental Assyrian stone carvings that show a vivid, detailed account of the siege of Lachish, a major event in the history of the ancient Middle East. Created around 700 to 681 BCE, these reliefs were originally installed as a major decoration in the southwest palace of the Assyrian king Sennacherib in Nineveh, which is modern-day Iraq. Discovered during excavations in the mid-19th century by Austin Henry Layard, the reliefs are now among the most prized artifacts in the British Museum in London. The reliefs depict the Assyrian army's comprehensive siege and subsequent capture of Lachish, a fortified city and, well, the second most important city in the Kingdom of Judah during the reign of King Hezekiah. The siege took place in 701 BCE as part of Sennacherib's campaign to reassert Assyrian dominance over rebellious kingdoms in the Levant. The Nutsi tablets, dating primarily to the 15th and 14th centuries BCE, were discovered through archaeological excavations at the ancient site of Nutsi in northeastern Iraq. The discovery process began with initial finds and developed into organized, large-scale archaeological efforts. The tablets show legal customs like adoption and inheritance, right out of Genesis. Archaeology isn't heaven-sent proof, but it drops the mic on critics who say it's all made up. So here's where we stand. Judaism wrote it, Christianity fulfilled it, and archaeology anchors it. Next time we dive into how Islam rewrote it in Arabic, and how Rastafari lives it today in raw and righteousness, subscribe to the Primal Text for Part 2